Hi guys, so today I'm going to be doing a middle school makeup tutorial for the back to school season. So this is just a really light kind of makeup tutorial. I tried to use as many drugstore products as I could. It's kind of also a tutorial for like beginners, so I kind of taught like where to put the products and stuff like that. It's completely personal preference if you want to wear more, if you want to wear less. So be it, you definitely do you. I want everybody to feel very confident going into this next school year. So if you want to find out how I did this makeup, be sure to keep on watching. So first thing, I'm just going to be starting with a base. And if you are in middle school, you're going to want it to be light and just kind of simple, very basic. Don't want to look like you kind of like caked on a ton of makeup. So for that, I'm just going to be using a BB cream. And my favorite is the Smashbox Camera Ready BB cream. And I know that this is not drugstore, but this one just happens to be my favorite. Another good one that I like that is drugstore is the Maybelline Dream Pure BB cream, and this one's pretty good too. Today I'm going to be using my Smashbox one, but the Maybelline one is good too, or just whatever BB cream you have. BB creams are just a lot lighter than foundations, and so it's not going to look quite as heavy. It's going to be a little bit more suitable for middle school. And my favorite way to apply this is with a beauty blender. You can use whatever you like. Your fingers are a great way too if you don't have the money to spend on a beauty blender. So I like to just kind of put some on the edge. Why did it come out in two? That was kind of funny. Anyway, I like to just kind of put it on the end and then just kind of dot it all over my face. And I'm really just going to put a really light amount of this on just because I just want a nice simple coverage, but I don't want a ton. I don't really want it to look like I'm wearing makeup. And I did get a little bit tan in the last few weeks, so this is a little bit light for me, but we'll blend it in. Next, I'm going to be moving on to like under my eyes and stuff. So you can use concealer if you want, but I find that that can be a little bit heavy and a little bit extra, and then you also have to spend money on an extra product. So what I'm going to do is just use a little bit more of my BB cream and put that under my eyes, and then if I have any blemishes or red spots or anything that I also want to cover just a little bit more, it's just kind of a second layer and can kind of help with that. So I'm just going to take a little bit on my fingers and just kind of put that under my eyes. I also just like to put a little bit down my nose because it tends to get a little bit red sometimes. So I'm just going to put that on and then blend it in with the beauty blender. So once I'm all done with that, I'm going to go ahead in with some powder. And this powder is from the drugstore, and I believe that it's actually one of the cheapest powders that they have at the drugstore. Mine's really beat up. I'm almost ready to pull out my new one, but this is the Rimmel Stay Matte powder. The glare is so bad. It's one of my favorites. It's super good. It keeps my makeup matte and staying on all day long, so I really like that. And it's also just good to set in your makeup, especially if you're going to be wearing it all day long and you don't want it to look messy throughout the day or anything. It just broke literally right now. Look at it. It's like falling apart. Anyway, it's okay. It still works. Then I'm just going to be taking a big, huge brush with this powder and just kind of swirling it in those broken pieces now. It's okay. It's still coming off. And I'm just going to be putting that right onto my skin. Okay, so now that everything's set, it just looks a lot smoother and it looks really good, but it still looks really natural. So this next step is optional. All the other steps are obviously optional as well, but this one you may not need it, you may need it. Really just depends on you and your eyebrows. So I'm going to be filling in my eyebrows a little bit just because I like the way that they look when they're a little bit darker. Helps to frame my face, you know. So you can use whatever product you want for this. For this, I'm just going to be using a shade in my Morphe palette, but you can really use whatever. I'm not going to be overdrawing or anything. I'm literally just going to be darkening what's already there. And then just using a little spoolie just to kind of blend that out just to make sure everything looks natural and not too dark. So now that my eyebrows are filled in, like I said, you definitely don't need to do this step if you don't feel the need to or you don't want to or anything like that. Next, I'm going to be going into eyes, so I'll zoom in a little bit. For eyes, I'm going to put a little bit of a base down, sort of a primer, just so everything kind of sticks a little bit better. So you can use a real primer if you have it, but like I said, that's another product, it's another step. I'm just going to use a little bit more of that BB cream again and just put a little bit on my fingers and use that as a base right on my eyelids. This Blush Nudes palette from Maybelline, this is what it looks like. It's really super pretty. It's a pretty good dupe for like some of the Tarte palettes, the Naked 3 palette. So I'm going to break this down as simply as I possibly can. So I'm going to start with the Blush Nudes palette, and I'm just going to take a fluffy brush like this, and you can find brushes anywhere. You can find them for super cheap at like your literally local grocery store, drugstore, anything like that. You could also go to places like Claire's or Icing. That's where I like to get a lot of my brushes. This one's actually from Icing. So I'm going to start with my crease, and your crease is just kind of the space in between your eyelid and your brow bone. So normally I like to use a darker color there. So I'm going to start with this color here. It looks a little bit more gray than it is on camera, but it's just kind of a light brown, but it's darker than some of the other shades. So I'm going to start with that. I'm going to kind of get some of that on this fluffy brush, and then just kind of tap off some of the extra just like this, just to make sure you don't get too much. And then I'm just going to kind of start putting that right in that area in between my lid and my brow bone. So I'm just going to kind of go in small circular motions on the outer corner, and then just kind of start with some windshield wiper motions as I get farther into the crease. And I like to make it darker on the outside and then get lighter as I go towards the inside. I'm going to do the same thing on the other eye. So once I've done that, I'm going to go ahead with a little bit of a fluffier brush, and you can use this for anything really. I like to use it because it's kind of bigger and fluffier, and use it for blending. So I'm just going to kind of go on the edges on the top there and just kind of sweep back and forth right across my brow bone. And this is clean, this has no product on it, so it's just going to kind of blend some of those harsh edges and just kind of make it a little bit lighter. So once I have that in my crease, I like the way that looks so far. So then I'm going to go in with a little bit of a lighter shade for my lid. And I'm going to take a flat brush for this. It's kind of a flat shader brush. It's pretty simple. So I'm going to go in with this kind of light shimmery pink right there. And then I'm just going to kind of put that all across my lid. So the last area that I'm going to do for my eyes is my brow bone highlight color. So for that, I'm going to be taking this very lightest color in here, kind of on a little bit more of a pointy brush. It's a little bit smaller, so it's more concentrated. And then I'm going to be going right onto my brow bone here and kind of going all the way in under here. And that just kind of lightens it up. And then again, you can take your blending brush and just kind of blend and make sure everything's good. And then go on to the other eye. And then I'm also just going to take that same color with that same brush and just kind of go on my inner corner right there. So next I'm going to be doing some mascara. So first thing is I'm just going to curl my eyelashes. My favorite mascara is the Too Faced Better Than Sex mascara in waterproof. This is what it looks like, but this one is high-end. My all-time favorite drugstore. This has been my favorite mascara since 7th grade, like literally since I was in middle school. I wore this every day in middle school. It's totally worn off, but this is my Colossal Maybelline waterproof mascara, and I have gone through probably 10 or 12 tubes of this, and it's so good. I really recommend that you try this out. It's super thickening, super lengthening. The waterproof holds the curl and lasts all day, so I definitely recommend that you try this one. Today I'm going to be using my Better Than Sex, but literally they work the same. I'll honestly probably layer them. I layer them a lot, so I'm just going to be doing that today. And lastly, for lips, I love this lip gloss. This is the L'Oreal Infallible Pro Gloss in the shade Coral Sands. So that's it for my middle school makeup tutorial. I really hope you guys enjoyed it, and if you're in middle school, good luck. If you're going into middle school, good luck. I hope this makeup makes you feel really confident. I definitely recommend that you try this out, and if you do, be sure to tweet me pictures or tag me on Instagram and your first day of school selfies. Make sure to subscribe and like this video if you enjoyed it, and I'll talk to you guys very soon in my next video. It'll probably be another back to school video, and I'll talk to you guys very soon. Bye.